whatever you happen to call yourselves. Welcome to Wolverine State Sports Talk. Before we begin this video, I just want to show you the website I've created. And as you can see, I just wrote an article about the Detroit Pistons and what the expectation should be coming into the season, so give that a read if you want to. There's a link down below. Give it a follow and let me know what you think. Alright, so talking about the Detroit Lions. I think we all knew that this was going to be a rebuilding year. We knew that there was a lot of trash left over from the Patricia Quinn era. A lot of guys on this roster that shouldn't be in the NFL. But I didn't realize it was this bad. And I went through and looked at the roster and I thought, alright, so what positions do we need for the future? And here's what I came up with. I say we need a new quarterback because I don't think Jared Goff is the quarterback of the future. I like Malik Willis out of Liberty. We probably need one or two receivers. You look at the strong safety position, Will Harris has really struggled there. We're going to need a couple corners because we've struggled there. We're going to need a couple linebackers because we struggled there. We're going to need a defensive tackle and a defensive end. D-line has actually been decent this year, but I still think we need a couple more pieces. And Aiden Hutchinson wouldn't hurt. But as you can see, that's a pretty long list. We've got a lot to address. But the good thing is we have 2 first-round picks this year, and we have 2 first-round picks the year after that. So, and then we didn't give away any of our second or third-round picks. So we actually have 8 picks in the top 3 rounds for the next couple of years. So I think that's a big deal. Still, though, that's a lot of pressure on Brad Holmes to fix all this. And I think that's part of the reason he was given a 6-year deal, because I think Sheila Ford knew, and Chris Spielman, they both knew how long and grueling this rebuild was going to be. So I've heard the question asked about TJ Hockenson, should we trade him? Since our season is kind of a wash, and he's one of the few assets we have on our roster that has an expiring contract pretty soon. I'd actually say we should keep him. Even though he'd be one of the highest paid tight ends in the league, I'd anticipate being around $16 million or something like that. Although that is a lot of money, it's actually not as big of a cap hit as you'd think. And I think he's good enough that you want to keep him on this team for a while. And then you look at Frank Ragnow. He's signed through 2026, which I think is great. He's one of my favorite players on this team. One of the best centers in the game. And he's a big reason why our offensive line is taking a big step forward. That's the one thing we do have going for this team. So the good news is Jared Goff's dead cap will not be very high in 2023 if we cut him, which I could see us doing. Because 2022 he's going to be our quarterback still. I think he'll be the quarterback, and then they'll pass the torch to Malik Willis. But then you look at 2023, we don't have any dead cap money going into that season. We have a lot of cap space and not a lot of guys that we are going to have to re-sign. So I think there's definitely room to re-sign TJ Hockenson. You don't have to get rid of the things that are good. That's what I don't understand, is if you know you have a great player, why would you get rid of him? But you look at the timetable of this rebuild. This season's going to be a wash. We are going to be the worst team in the league, I think. I think Jacksonville's better than us. I'll go that far. Then the next season is going to be another bad season, even with a couple first-round picks, from the Rams and are probably the number 1 overall pick. Still got a lot to address, and still not in a great situation for the cap in 22 because of all the dead money that we have from Collins and Tavai, and also Jared Goff's salary, which sucks. You look at 2023, still, I mentioned all the roster spots we're going to have to rebuild. Who knows what we're going to have to rebuild from 2023 and onward. So there's a lot of work to do, and there's a reason that Campbell and Holmes were given a 6-year deal. So we've been patient our whole lives, but as Lions fans, we're going to have to be patient here again, because this is a full-on rebuild. And I mean, literally almost half the roster needs to be rebuilt. And that's why I think Stafford wanted to get out of here, because he saw that most of this roster should not be on an NFL team, and this is a rebuilding team. Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, they completely destroyed this organization, and they left a big, huge mess for Campbell and Holmes to clean up. It's almost like it's almost like they threw mayonnaise all over the wall at Subway in their last night of work there. They threw mayonnaise all over the wall. They threw all the meat, packaged meat, all the stuff all over the wall. They just made a big, complete mess everywhere. And then they quit their jobs. And then Campbell and Holmes are there to clean up the mess. It's going to take a while. Honestly, if everything goes right, 3 to 4 years, I think, is the next time you can expect this team to be competitive. But that's assuming everything goes right, which it rarely ever does. And that's assuming that Holmes is going to hit home runs in the draft, because that's part of why he was hired, because of his good history with drafting. We've got a long way to go. So I don't expect anything out of this team this season. I just expect Dan Campbell to manage the game correctly. That's all I expect. No more games like last week. That was strike one for me. Because I don't care what kind of team you have, you got to understand the score and the situation. So I just need to see more from Dan Campbell, that he's going to manage the game correctly. All right, thank you all for listening. Go Lions and go Blue tomorrow against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Y'all have a good night. Take care.